And we are live. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry if I sound like garbage, but I'm under a cold right now. But I'm feeling well enough to do Knightcast. I probably won't be as vocal as I usually am tonight. I'm joined by my co-host, Sound Joker. We have a lot of news to talk about regarding the Nintendo Switch 2, the success of Minecraft, the controversy surrounding the theater incidents is going around where people are bringing in chickens and throwing around popcorn, and also some Power Ranger news just broke. Uh, all of that and more as we get into it. Hello, Sarah Outlaw George. Joker, what do you want to talk about first?
Well, I guess since we are the big debate with we had last time around, we're gonna talk about the follow up on what Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, said about Nintendo Switch 2. It's like, oh, they just pulled the dark era of Microsoft, the Xbox 360. Are they insane for saying this? Because I have to say that this is already looking bad. The console's powerful, which is great, but is also held back by those darn cartridges. Thankfully, you can upgrade to a terabyte. The pricing is expensive, but how many people can really afford it? But then all of a sudden, they pull a Blizzard situation of, do you guys not have cell phones? So what am I talking about? What are we talking about? I put it in the private chat. What are we talking about? This is insane to me. Not to mention the pricing of the game, some being 80 on digital and some of them might be 90 on physical. Oh god, no. We're not ready for this, folks. We're not ready
They
for
could have
this.
waited until the economy was way better to where people can afford stuff again.
So what are we talking about? What am I talking about, folks? Uh,
There we are.
They don't understand that some consumers won't be able to afford the Switch 2. Excuse me?
I just went to
Well, discuss
I just went to Comic Con and spent a crap ton of money.
While discussion surrounding Switch 2 pricing continues, Nintendo America President Doug Bowser understands that some consumers may not be able to afford the system. Bowser was speaking about the cost and recent interviews for those interested. Let's Here we go. As we look at Nintendo Switch 2 and you think about the feature sets that I've talked about, we believe the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine. Remember, it's a little bit over $400, so yeah, that's to be expected, especially how powerful it is. So, all right, fair enough. And the gameplay experience overall, we recognize that some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2 price point. That's why we want to make the other Switch platforms available so people still have an opportunity to come to our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in. So, in layman's terms, they're basically stating in here is that you can't afford a Switch 2, you can buy Switch number 1. Okay, but there's also other parts of the interview that they go longer. There's been pricing around like the whole why is this like $80 for a Switch for a game that's on digital versus some games coming at $90. To me, at end of the day, there's a lot more news about this coming up. But to summarize a lot of it, it really does not justify the price. Like Mario Kart World possibly might be $90, possibly $90 for one game. But people are going to
It's
say,
insanity.
but people are going to say, but you and me might be living the high life for some people. People consider the high life that you can't afford to go to Comic Con, have all this stuff, all these wonderful cosplays and figures. One, my income is at least stable right now, and when you're living with your folks still, uh, they may judge me what I buy a little bit now and then, but I got a good life lesson after my first big solo convention that they've said that I need to manage my money better, and I'm like, you know what, you're right, I didn't come prepared. I took a little bit out of college that I was saving up for, and it's like, well, that's a lesson learned. So now I know how to spend my money better. Two, I just gave the big thing away. I still live with my parents. Yeah, I'm an adult, but it's nice to still live with your folks that are very nice and generous that can give me food, water, shelter, clothing. I do help them out, pay the bills. I do help them watch the dog, take care of the house when they're away on vacation or when they have to go on long business trips. So essentially, if I can manage all this and keep my job, they're not going to kick me out just yet. Just yet. Compared to my good friend Enemy Not here, he has continued to say, "Oh, I'm talking to my roommates." He's living with roommates. So rent isn't cheap, folks. Remember that. And if you're living with roommates, that can pretty much help out the cost of living. It'll still be expensive, but you're living with people that can help out, and that
and
take it
and
away.
who are very sweet and competent enough to do, who are actually good, unlike the horror stories I've heard lately. So I'm blessed. What? Heavenly Jester with the $10 super chat. Hello, my friend. Welcome to the
Hey,
channel.
thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. So good. I still remember my sister living with her roommates for a good long while before she moved in with her boyfriend, who is now her husband. So just remember, things are expensive and things are going to continue to increase in price and decrease in price. So depending on who you are, you may not be able to afford everything. But I know what people are going to say, but it's Nintendo. They've mostly been the family console. You are correct, but mom and dad might look at the price and be like, $400 for one console, one console, and a game might nowadays cost you $90. Not going to be for every game, but it starts with one, and then it becomes slowly the industry standard. I still remember my dad many years ago talking about, like, I was talking about some games and stuff, and dad's like, $60. That's ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Back in the day, $60 was affordable to buy a game. But then when I got older and we saw that increased price to 70, it was like, oh yeah, that's not fair. Granted, we were in the lockdowns at that time period, but still, it was not fully justified. Like, it didn't make sense. Now suddenly, with the announcement, or was it months ago, with, you remember, with Take Two and Rocksteady very much want to do with GTA 6,
Oh yeah,
the
they wanted it.
$100 price range. This is why we talk about this stuff. I cannot and will not buy GTA 6, even if I am a GTA fan. I will say
Even if it's
no.
the base, even if it's the base price, we still won't do it.
I will not buy $100 game. Nothing is worth $100. But you keep saying that you have. Here's the thing: what I keep saying with Cyberpunk, I do have Cyberpunk 2077, but I have the collector's edition. Keywords: collector's edition, $250. That came with a lot of stuff that justify the price range. Hell, that figure alone in the box alone must be at least worth $100 to $150, depending on the right buyer. So at least I know what I'm getting is increasing that price. I got an art book and everything with all the developers' signatures on it, so we get to see like the concept stuff, all the pages. Like, looks beautiful, like all
Oh,
the other knickknacks. So at least that is justifying the price with the base game. The
yeah.
base game should not be 80 to $100. That's ridiculous. Not to mention on Nintendo Switch, if you buy stuff digitally, apparently they said it's 80, but why is a base game 90 for physical? Yikes, that's
Yeah, what is up with
ridiculous.
that?
That's that's ridiculous. And also, if you do have they're doing the smart thing with Sony at least a little bit that if you already have a Switch One game that's backwards compatible with Switch Two, you can upgrade it for $10. I'm like, they're $10 on digital. That's cheap. That's fair. But no game should be cost you 80, 90 to $100. That
Oh,
is higher rank
2K.
robbery,
2K is criminal.
money hungry.
Yeah.
But it's not just that.
The LeBron James one. Holy crap!
So
I
all
almost had
that
a
stuff.
heart attack seeing that price. I'm like, how much for the China James? How much for the China James edition?
We also got to remember how unfinished these games are today in these times. Also, don't forget cosmetics and microtransaction and selling content that should be in the base game as DLC day one on the disc that should be playable from the start. So add that to your 80, 90, $100 games, you're probably spending at least 150 anywhere between 100 if not more just to get the complete experience.
Well, with Crash Team Racing Nitro Field, from my memory, the base game was 40, I believe, and then the nitrous oxide edition, which I got, it was 70, but you get a lot more with it though, which is good. You get oxide on unlock and everything, and so many other things. What Nitro Field did, I mean, aside, you can make the argument that the microtransactions thing was a little sus, but on the bright side, at least they weren't like egregious, like $20 for X amount of Wumpa coins. That's actually pretty good. That's actually decent, at least. You can still earn the coins through the races and everything. You can still do that. But I'm glad Crash Bandicoot 4 didn't go that route. They're like, no, we're not doing microtransactions. You can unlock the skins with the gems that you get in that game.
And it just shows
Ooh.
you how expensive things are getting and that remember it starts with one and then becomes the trend. So many games are just incomplete these days and you don't think Rockstar is not going to do that with GTA 6? Oh, they are definitely will. They can tell me but the budget is allegedly 2 billion, which to me I'm like that's a big rumor. If I have to say anything, it's got at least between I would say maybe year one of Destiny, which was average between 500 million. Granted, that's production costs and probably marketing. They did go heavy with Destiny for the marketing. Everybody knew that. You could not escape Destiny. It was everywhere. You know, GameStop, Walmart, Target, NYC, LA, you name it. It was everywhere. So they went pretty big on the marketing for Destiny. So that's probably where some of that budget went to as well. And it was the team up between Activision and Bungie that was supposed to be 10 plus years, but that didn't even last. That didn't even last 10 years. It lasted maybe the first, I want to say it was sometime after Destiny 2 when that launched. Maybe the first two expansions, and they said, nope, we're done with Activision. They got out of the contract. So
Oh yeah, they were done. They're like, yeah, fuck you people. Speaking of which, I managed to get this hidden gem at Comic Con.
all right, people are going to say, but how much that cost you? Then again, it's Comic Con, so the price is going to be a little bit higher than some of the stores. So how much did that cost you?
$42.
42 for a figure. That ain't too bad. Not too bad.
I had they had the Raku and Koga and Shishomaru and Iyuasha and Kagome as well. They wanted 70 for the Raku. I think they wanted 90 for Koga. I'm trying to remember the other ones, but Kikyo though I had to get. Kikyo I had to get. And
So
I got something else too. So talk to the audience for a moment. I was gonna
okay.
save this for the stream,
Okay.
but
So
I was gonna save this for your stream, but
okay.
hold on one second. Keep talking to the audience. What's up,
Okay.
Bill?
So all right. So pretty much end of the day, I'm gonna refuse to buy games that if they go up to $80, $90, $200 base game price alone, it's gonna be a no. But that's why sometimes we say wait until price comes to reduce, and if you want to start playing some old games, there are some really good old games now that you can probably get at a steal right now. Some might be at the same price or not, but you'll never know until you start looking. So it's not too late to go through your big back catalog right now if you guys want to start playing your games that you've always been saying that I'll wait till price. It might be at a full price right now, but uh, I don't think this industry is not ready. And I think when you do see those prices get to 80, 90, 100, I think that will truly kill the big AAA. I think it will kill the AAA industry. And that's why people will go to indie. Indies are, I saw that. So he got it. Darkwing Duck.
Guess the price.
If I recall, was it 50 at least?
Lower.
Oh, 30 then.
Lower.
20.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, he wanted 30. He told me if I showed up yesterday, he would have charged 35. But since it was Sunday and the final day, he brought it down to 20. I had to get it. I had to. And I'm like, ah. He did it. He did say he had Negaduck, but that sold out day one. Like the first day of con, it sold out.
Sweet. Like I found, like I know I had that a Macross figure that I asked Matt, like, Matt, should I get this one or should I wait for something else? And I'm like, it was in a corner, so I'm like, I'll just leave it here in case someone else wants it. I won't bother with it if someone took it, but no one took it, so oh, there's my favorite character, Albedo. Sweet.
35.
Again, folks, people are saying that, but there's been at least figures are one thing compared to something that's playing a game or whatnot. Sometimes you buy them and they'll remain in the box. Sometimes we'll take them out and, put them on nice display and everything. But, or, you're supporting an artist alley for an artist alley, but these will be very much different things. It's one thing that if you want it, you can buy it. I'm not here to judge you on what you're buying or not buying. I want to make that 100% clear. But if you know that if it's too expensive or too not, there's always that, you know what, it'll be there next year, or if I can find them elsewhere, go for it. There's a thing that we always say that's called impulse buy. Like you want to like you really want it, but not really. Hell, I think my second convention, my friend and I saw this Jolene figure that I wanted, but I'm like, nope, I could get it. He said, like, hey, come back next year, it'll be there. And what I did on the first day, went to the vendor hall, found the same Jolene figure, and I'm like, hey, mission accomplished. I can buy whatever I want now. So,
Jesus Christ.
So thank you, Callie.
Wow,
at least
Callie.
It wasn't 50 like last time. Don't do that again. Don't do that again.
I'm under the weather right now, so that would make it worse. I would be going to the hospital right now. I would be going to the hospital right now.
So your final thought on the whole Nintendo stuff, like, what Doug is saying, If you don't have a Switch, you can always get the Switch 1. I'm like, come on, guys. You're going to leave that hardware in the dust once the Switch 2 comes out, along with the whole price range and everything, with gaming being way too expensive these days. So, your final thoughts?
I think it's very sad at how ignorant they are becoming, and they're like, "Oh, why you can't afford this? Stop being poor." Well, it's not our fault that the economy is the way it is because you fuckers voted for that. And it's like, oh, well, we don't want to do this. This reminds me of the PS4 debacle. It reminds me of that when it was $499 for the PS4.
PS3. I think it
The
was the
oh,
PS3.
PS3. Sorry.
PS3 was like close to 500 at the time. PS4 was at least around $250
Hey,
the time I
Rexus.
got mine. And Xbox was a little bit more expensive because they had to connect with you with the Xbox One. So that's why they failed very early on until they pretty much removed the Connect, dropped the Connect completely, and then made the price more affordable. But it was like too little too late. More people were buying the PS4 because it was cheaper to buy. Sure, the storage space was crap on the PS4 unless you didn't upgrade your storage, but it was affordable, much more affordable versus the Xbox One. That's how they won that award. Also, the always the I could be here reminiscing what happened with the Xbox One, but long story short, we know why Sony won that console generation because they were the smarter company and everything. But yeah, there's all that. So
And they decide to make it political, like, oh, Trump's tariffs. Like that has
no, this
anything to
isn't about
do like that has anything to do with the gaming prices. Come on. See, this is why gamers hate politics. It's because of shit like that.
All right, I put the next thing in private chat, so this is what I'm excited for. If you guys are saying there's nothing to watch on Netflix, you guys are missing out on one of my favorite adult shows on Netflix for animation. And I'm telling you, this is a really good show. What's it called? It's called Blood of Zeus. We're finally getting the third and final season of Blood of Zeus coming very, very soon. So I'm like, this is awesome. This is amazing. We're still getting it, still coming this year. So what's Blood and Zeus all about? Well, it is, of course, Greece mythology, and they're telling an untold story by one of these heroes that were forgotten, and it kind of puts it on a twist. So, and it's really great. So, you'll see a tale of two characters, or basically like opposed to duality of each other. This is, of course, the main villain of the show. Uh, God, I forgot I can't remember his name, but it's been a while. But these two definitely have a connection. After all, it's called Blood of Zeus. So I'll give you that little hint. But do you guys like shows that are smart, really good, heavy drama? When the action does start, it's nice, bloody, as usual, but there's really any swearing here. Like the characters are actually challenging their own morals, who they're kind of siding with. So it's a good hero's journey, but at the same time, not everything is exactly what it seems to be. After all, there's going to be a tragedy in these stories that I always love. So, and this thing looks awesome. It looks amazing. Like, look at this. Look how awesome these shots are. I mean, these are just still images, but these look great. Look at that one. Look at that one. That's awesome. Woo! Like,
Oh,
what's
that's
happening
actually
here?
pretty cool.
I'm like, what's happening here? Again, Greek mythology, folks. Greek mythology, and I love this stuff. So, and honestly, season two. This is what I've said a lot about season two when it dropped. We didn't start with a heavy action scene. Like most of this, that second season was very much drama. It was well written drama. It was very well acted. Like you got to learn more about Hades, of course. You get to learn more about his wife. You get to learn more about the villain and the hero. Funny enough, this show was originally called heroes and villains, but they changed it to Blood of Zeus. So I'm like, I think this sounds a better title, Blood of Zeus. And funny enough, we're not even that funny enough, but I mean, this is such a great show that I think people need to be watching. So it's on Netflix. If you guys need to watch something quick, you know, bleach your eyes out if you watch something else that was kind of bad on Netflix. Go for this show. It's awesome. Beautiful painting, beautiful backgrounds, wonderful action. You get to see a hero's journey again, of course, but with their twist on these gods and villains that we see, it's really good. Also, they got some great freaking actors in this. I mean, like, who is all in this? I mean, well, for crying out loud. They got the man, the myth, the legend himself. One of my favorite actors, voice actors that people do see a lot lately. Fred Testosterone. Yeah, as Hades. I'm like, who? He's such.
Ooh,
Yeah, they got
that's
him.
a
They
good
got him.
casting. That's a good casting choice right
And I
there.
mean, obviously, when you hear him speak, it's like, oh, that's Fred, and he's amazing. They somehow managed to get uh, Jason O'Mara as Zeus. So, Vegas, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the man, the high castle. Danny Jacob is in this as well. Who else? Oh, of course, everyone's favorite female voice, female shepherd, Jennifer Hale's in it.
Yep.
You got Courtney Taylor, J.B. Blanc. Oh, there you go. How you say her name again? Carrie Wallinger. So she's in this. Who else? Oh, there you go. Oh, Fu for Samurai Champloo. There you go. They got
There you
Fu.
go.
There you go. Like there's so many wonderful people in here that when you start listening, you go like, oh my god, they got a lot of cool people in here. And I honestly thought I was never going to see a season 2, but when they announced it, I was excited, very happy. And you guys want like Greek mythology that we don't see quite as often, especially in animation format, go for the show. It's awesome. It's amazing. You won't regret it, my friends. You won't regret it. It's an amazing show.
Think Dante's Inferno, but like almost to peak levels, like almost rivals it in that sense.
I mean, there's that as well. If you guys want to see some Norse mythology, obviously Twilight of the Gods, that'll be Zack Snyder's take with his couple comic book writers that they teamed up with. So that is also a very good one. That one's more action packed, but there's still a lot of great voices across the board. So there's a lot of cool moments of action. I mean, they got Hans Zimmerman and a few others doing the music for Twilight of the Gods. So it's like, ooh, they managed to get Zimmerman. I mean, when you're playing around with Netflix's money, you could afford it. So it's some really great stuff. I think for Twilight of the Gods, the standout voice to me is the guy voicing uh, Loki. Like almost every scene he's in, it feels like you're in the recording booth with him, like you're watching him bring the character to life. So that's another good one to watch. So, anyways, I'm excited for this. But there's another announcement that they finally did. We cannot show the trailer, but we can do this though. We can show it a little bit. We have to pause it right away, like absolutely. Like you gotta pause it. Finally, after a few years of waiting, we're finally getting this one right here. So this is what I'm excited for about. See if I can get this going. I have to pause it almost like immediately. I have to pause it like immediately because I can't do anything else about it. Finally, the fourth season of Love, Death, and Robots. So I am
Ooh.
happy. I'm excited. Like the fourth season. And so basically, like Blur Studios and several other studios, animation studios across the world, pretty much literally across the world. They kind of like team up with the first volume of Love, Death, and Robots. Basically, think of any story you want to think about, whether they be short stories people haven't heard about, original ideas. This is what Love, Death, Robot is. Just make cool shorts. Some are more interesting than others. Some are more philosophy. There's a lot of cool ideas, and you'll see different talents go from full CGI to like ice and a few. Was it ice? No, it could have been ice and a few others that do their own animation art style that is very creative and unique. So this is really cool to see. Like, I mean, they go crazy for a few of these. Like some of them get like almost like photorealistic at
Yeah,
times.
yeah, it's copyright claim.
So can't quite show everything, but just going by like the stills and whatnot, it's pretty cool to see shit. So if you want to see stuff like this that hasn't been done before, go for it. Love, Death, and Robots is great. And if you're saying Tim Miller, he also is coming off right now of Amazon Prime with, their video game adaptation anthology series. What was it called again? Next Level, I think. Was that what it called? Next Level?
I
Next
believe
Level?
so.
Oh no, it's Secret Level. Secret
Secret,
Level. There
yeah.
you go. There you go. Secret Level. So again, I can't play the trailer due to copyright reasons. That's why I try to show off just a little bit. Yeah, it's Netflix. They won't show us stuff, so that's why we can't, especially with the music playing. But just getting the quick screenshots here and there, he was like, "Woo!" So
There was a.
it's.
I just saw a dildo. I just saw a dildo at the fourth
I
second
told you
mark.
this show's crazy.
I can't show it here, but don't believe me. Go see it. It's at the 4 second mark. It's a blinky you miss.
That's why I had to
What the
show.
heck?
Well, this
Oh
shows. Well,
shit!
now some people might say, are any of these shows connected? Not really. Some shows might have like some similar themes and messages. So like season two, like season one probably had the most episodes of all the volumes. They had a grand total of 18 episodes just for season one
Yep.
alone. I mean, when you try to do stuff, you want to
Think
grab the
anime.
attention to people, the attention.
Yep. If you like Animatrix, it's kind of like this, but way more out there. Like way
No,
more out there.
some of them are more somber than others. Like season two had pretty much this weird, like there's like this giant man on the beach and no one knows where it came from. But it's kind of like, but it almost felt like a BBC, like, documentary and everything in that sense of way. How they shot it a little bit. There's this wonderful narration over it. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then season one has probably one, two, like multiple of my favorite episodes where one's like a big giant kaiju battles underground, but then again, the setting is within a church, so these people aren't going to church to ask for forgiveness. They're going to church to unleash themselves, be relieved for a bit. So it's like, oh, there's some cool symbolism here and there. My favorite one is The Witness. This is by one of the visual consultant of Spider-Verse. So, and you can tell it is Spider-Verse vibes because of the reflections, how the characters move a bit, and that is just a mind-blowing episode where I'm like, okay, this is cool, this is awesome, and you might get some stop motion here and there. So anyway, if you want cool animation stuff, if you want to keep saying I want cool animation shows, why don't we get that? This is the place to go,
Yeah.
especially with Animatrix and Secret Level. Like this is the way to go. I mean, I could literally watch maybe after Volume 4, maybe 3 more good seasons of Love, Death, and Robots. Hell, you know it's good when the man himself, David Fincher, that's right, David Fincher is a producer of this series. When he got to direct an episode 4, for the third volume. You're saying David Fincher? Yep, David Fincher. And it was a really good episode. Hell, they managed to get Troy Baker for that
Yep.
episode. Troy. We're talking about a whole lot of people are in this, so some you won't recognize, but a few of them you will recognize. So it's like, oh, sweet, cool. Even Nolan North, they got Nolan North. Amazing. As for the copyright stuff, it's all over the place. So that's why you got to be careful. But I'm excited. I'm like I'm ready to go. I'm ready. My body's ready. I just got to wait till next month. So it comes out next month on May 15th. So that's what I'm excited for. So speaking about the whole Netflix stuff, I'm sure you heard about the whole debate, mixed reactions of what's going on with Netflix's very own Devil May Cry. Have you watched the Devil May Cry show yet, or not? Not yet.
I've caught clips of it here and there, and I'm genuinely impressed.
I finished it. I do have problems with it. Like it's flawed, but they kind of get some of it right. Now, granted, folks, don't kill the messenger. Don't shoot me. I want to say for the most part, like I enjoyed it for what it is. Obviously, it's before the manga for Devil May Cry. It's before all the events that we know that happens. Slightly doing its own thing. It's got a killer soundtrack. I love Studio Mirror when they do this stuff, but I think the big reason why people aren't quite saying this isn't quite Devil May Cry is the whole demon controversy, what's going on right now, the constant swearing with Lady, kind of butchering her character. Dante's not quite Dante yet. I think this is before he gets his memory wiped clean or forgets who he is. Obviously, there's no Ebony Ivory yet because he hasn't met Goldstein yet. He's not going by Tony Redgrave quite yet. Virgil is in the show, but Neon Angelo, so he's in there somewhere. I won't tell you where he's at. And the highly debate Green Day American Idiot ending. If I want to take it step by step, I still think they get some of the characters right. I think Dante's fine because he's not quite that cool, calm, collective, the whoa, slow down there, babe, or, king, is your crown. He's not quite there yet. So we're still in the rookie years of Dante, of being the demon hunter and everything. Obviously, there's no Ebony Ivory because he hasn't met Goldstein yet. So every gun he uses does break because he's using bullets that are too powerful, or he just breaks them. You do get to see Lady, but they keep calling her Mary Arkham because that's her full name, Lady Mary Arkham. So I kind of call Lady, Mary because that's what they keep calling her, Mary in the show, before she even goes by a Lady. So we're not quite there yet till Devil May Cry 3. Is it weird that we're seeing her early? Yes, but she's with Darkon now. So I'm like, I can forgive that here and there. I don't like the fact that she keeps on swearing all the time. Writing style is one thing. I wish they would just please figure out just reduce the swearing a whole lot and then just start writing better dialogue. I know they can do it, but if it works in some shows and not in others, that's fine. But I think the real thing that people are getting about is the story. Story wise, it's fine. The White Rabbit is easily the best character out of in a Devil May Cry show. I'm like, this guy's charismatic. He's smart. He's kind of planning things ahead. And honestly, he's got the best episode out of all of them in episode 6. I won't tell you what happens in that episode, but it was a really good episode on how they just use visual storytelling and with the music that's accompanying the visuals. So I'm like, this is good. This is what I wanted. My problem is that it's definitely more action oriented versus the more slow burnish take on Devil May Cry back in by Studio Madhouse when DMC4 was coming out. So it's a nice contrast, different, but the problem that people have is the whole demons. You know about the controversy by now, don't you?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of fake fans showing that they're fake as hell and all that, getting upset, throwing every political phrase out there.
To me, I want to say as someone who's completed the show, and I have, I played the DMC reboot of Devil May Cry. I have beaten DMC 5. I am going back through like all the old Devil May Cries. I've seen clips back in the day. I've watched clips back in the day, but I do want to say I think demons are just lying. They're lying. Like, is it really that political? I'm gonna say no, not really, because I think demons are lying in this. So I know people say, but these are the lesser demons. But obviously, in Devil May Cry, Lord, the lesser demons are meant to be more attack hungry, frenzy. So I'm like, okay, it's only the higher ones that can speak. I'm like, it's weird that they went in that direction, but but I'm like, they're demons. They're lying. They gotta be lying. So we'll have to wait till like season 2 comes out to know if I was right about that. But then the Green Day ending sequence playing American Idiot. Let me say this. I want to say this because there's a line in season 1, episode 1, that was said about this. Because in a strange way for Devil May Cry, you could argue the fact that maybe DMC 1 through 5 people know about the angels and demons, whatnot. Hell, people would even say, but in DMC 4, isn't like Nero's girlfriend Kyrie with the whole Church of Sparta, that church and everything. I'm like, yeah, they do worship Sparta in that game and everything. Angels do exist, demons exist, and everything. But there's a line in the first episode, literally within the first episode, like near the middle of the episode, where the president, the vice president, along with Darkham, everybody's here. They're talking about what happened in Italy and everything, with when the White Rat stole the sword of Sparta and everything. And they're talking about like, are these demons and whatnot? They can't be demons. Demons don't exist. And they said, well, here's the truth. Demons, in fact, do exist, and they do tell you that. Imagine if the people of the world knew about angels, like hell being actually real. They said, what would their reaction be? And I want to say this is looping back to that whole point because now the whole world is learning that demons exist and whatnot. They know hell is real. So I'm like, okay, that's clever. That's clever. They're looping it back. So, but I want to say the hypocrisy is that why is Green Day American Idiot playing? And I'm thinking back to what Adi Shankar tweeted out before. His Devil May Cry takes place in, you know, pre, like the very early of the 2000s. Think about the climate, the time period we were living in the early 2000s back in the day, before that horrific event happened. So I'm like, hmm, he's onto something. He's slightly onto something. But then again, Green Day American Idiots playing. I want to know if this is actually meant to be a call out to them saying they're full of hypocrisies and everything. I want to know if this is calling Green Day out just a little bit. Or how Green Day got popular through American Idiots. So I'm like, they might be on to something a little bit here, but that's just like my theory and everything. I could debate about this constantly over and over again, but it's like, is this meant to call them out? Is this meant to be a whole wink, wink, wink reference and everything? It could be, or it just could be that whatever they were thinking about in the creative process. So we'll never know. We'll never know until season 2 comes out. I mean, it went from top 6, top 3 within the first few weeks. So, like, hey, they got a smash show. They got a hit show. They are definitely 100% going to renew this show. And my God, Johnny Young Bosch, he's doing his best he can. I love this guy. He's trying to help promote the show. He understands interacting with the fans, along with Mr. Shankirk and everything. Retweeting fan art, posters, and whatnot, costumes, you name it. Granted, I do not like, when he's at WWE, they call him the creator, Devil May Cry. Obviously, he didn't create the actual game series. He just created the 2025 version of the show. So somebody did mess up over there. But at the end of the day, I still like the show. I can have fun with it. It definitely needs to improve for season 2, especially if they are going to start adapting more of the manga now, of the Tony Redgrave era of Dante, because I need to see Ebony and Ivory. But please, for the love of God, got season 1 out the door, just ignore the whole nice demon thing. Please, if you do that, I think the fans will forgive you.
Yep. And thank you, Joker, for explaining the whole thing and giving my voice a breather than the rest. I appreciate
Yep,
it.
it's fine.
This is
It's
more
okay.
this is more up your alley, so I figured I let you take the floor and run with it. So I'm happy you did.
Yeah, like I said, I watch the show. People, if you want to debate me in the comment section below, debate me. I kind of push Casey a little bit on the show, like just give it a chance, give it a watch. And our other friends, they have watched the show as well, or have seen clips and everything. And I'm like, you guys have absolute right to have your fair constructive based criticism. You're right. I'm still like to love the show, but a couple of them were on to a few things. So I'm like, and I'm still taking that into consideration. Like, hey, I like the show, and I think the show is way better than Nocturne and everything. People are going to say, well, isn't Shankar responsible for Nocturne? Not really. There's new showrunners, new writers. We may have the same directors, but it's not quite the same Castlevania as we got with seasons 1 through 4 of when Ari was showrunner of that series with Warren Ellis writing the screenplay, even with Sam Dates and his brother directing the episode. So it's gonna be a little bit different feel and vibe, especially with that switch to Nocturne, where I have to go to one of our friends, do Kyle uh do Kyle from South Park and go like, you were right all along. I should have trusted you, but I didn't. But I didn't. I had hopes, but so my hopes for Devil May Cry season 2. Adapt the manga better, adapt the games better. Let's hear some more tracks from the shows, from the games. They can get the license to it. Just go a little bit more slower. Let's get some more drama scenes going. And hopefully to God, their outfits improve. I know one of the big complaints is that people, when they saw the costumes that the characters were wearing, thought they looks a little bit too generic. Ladies' armor clothes were inspired by a 2D side-scrolling character. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. But as in concept art that we saw, their outfits are meant to evolve as the show goes on. So hopefully in season 2, we see more of their iconic, getting closer and closer to their iconic Devil May Cry 3 outfits, and Dante can go back to his DMC 1 outfit. So I'm hoping for the best. Again, I am optimistic. We could debate about everything in the comment section below, but until then, I'm hoping for the best. I am hoping for the best for the show, because that's all you can do as a fan. Hope for the best. Yes, you're allowed to like the show. If you dislike the show, that's completely fine. But like I said, we don't have to agree on everything. I just hope for the best. That's what I want. I want good products at the end of the day. And hopefully I can get that good product at the end, because I know they can do it. I know they can do it.
Yeah, yep. And it goes to show how great Devil May Cry. It's not perfect, but it does hit the right notes, and it's slowly building up the world, as Joker says. We haven't gotten to those points, those pivotal moments yet.
From the games, at least, from the game standpoint, or even from the manga that takes place before Devil May Cry 3. Or
so, Joker, in your humble opinion, where does this take place? Like in the Devil May Cry?
This is way before DMC 3, so, and this is before.
So between 2 and 3.
No. So the order the game goes this in chronological order. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. That is game number 1 in the chronological timeline. Then it goes DMC 1, then 4, then 2. Because some people thought 2 was before 4 or 4 was after 2. But when you do look at the show, even like from Madhouse, Dante is in his Devil May Cry 1 outfit. And uh, the young girl he's kind of protecting is still a young child. And by DMC4, Nero is supposed to be in his teenager years, so it's like, And in DMC5, Patty, the girl he was taking care of, she said that she's not supposed to be a little kid anymore, even though it's like, wait a second, if you're back from DMC1, in between 1 and 2 or 4-ish, shouldn't you be a little bit older than Nero or maybe around the same age? So it's like that. So when you look at the outfits and everything, Dante is meant to be older because remember he stays in his human form more often than he does with his brother Virgil. That's why when you look at DMC5 and compare Dante to Virgil, you're all like, wait a second, but they're supposed to be brothers. Yes, but since Virgil has always been in his demon form, he's always younger. He looks younger. His appearance is younger than Dante, who always stays in his human form, and that's why he's got like he's got peach fuzz and everything. So where the 2025 show takes place, even he has to announce this. The showrunner announced this. This is before DMC3, and like I said, the big takeaway is where are his iconic guns, Ebony and Ivory? That because he hasn't met Mel Goldstein yet. When he, loses his memories and everything, he still does the bounty hunting job and everything. But he goes to a gunsmith known as Mel Goldstein. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. So I'll just call it Goldstein. And for her, she always had to keep building him guns all the time because he keeps breaking them. He literally has bullets that are so powerful that when he fires them off in the gun, they break. Hence why she creates Ebony and Ivory so that he doesn't have to keep replacing guns all the time so they don't break. Ain't that sweet of her? Ain't that very nice of her? Great guns that you don't have to keep replacing the old ones. And this is why Nico, when she meets him in DMC5, my grandmother is Goldstein. You can literally see Dante's beautiful subtle reaction go like, it's like that's a name he hasn't heard in years. And he's like, you don't look like her. And she's like, yeah, I get my looks on my daddy's side. So, and then he does the whole, gay cowboy dance. Dancing like Michael Jackson in DMC5 when he gets the cowboy hat. But that goes to show you where we do say the details are important. So this is way before DMC3 because we're not having quite got Ebony and Ivory. There's no Mel Goldstein yet. Yes, granted, he's meeting a lady early on, even though I call her Mary Arkham because she's not quite the lady we know from DMC3 yet. So I think we'll get there eventually. So that's kind of like where the anime takes place in. Now, granted, I think eventually his big goal and big plan is there's like meant to be a big, massive crossover of the whole place in the bootleg universe. So that means you might see a crossover in the near future with Castlevania, Captain Laserheart, Devil May Cry. So that could be cool. Also, there is a reference to Raccoon City. I'm not even joking. They call out Raccoon City. I'm like, you mean that job you did at Raccoon City? I'm like, I'm pretty sure Dante could take on any threat from Resident Evil very easily. I mean, to be fair, this was the same gentleman who did appear in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, if you're like in the USA version. No, I'm not even joking. Dante appeared in a Shin Megami Tensei title for the third mainline game in the series called Nocturne. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool actually. With Ruben reprising his role to play the character, I'm like, wow. So you can literally have a demon that is Dante himself. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, Joker, apparently, so the Minecraft movie, I'm sure you're aware of what is happening.
Oh,
And you know me, I work in this field, so
mm-hmm.
this is real, ladies and gentlemen. This is very real. I can confirm every bit of this.
May not
Uh,
be his theater, but Chicken Jockey.
Actually, it has happened at the theater.
What?
Yeah, and I nearly got into a fist fight with the patron for doing that. I was arguing with him, like, show some respect. I think we kicked out 13 of them.
13 of them.
Yeah, we told him to
Wow.
leave. We straight up told him to leave. Look, I understand Chicken Jockey is like all the rage and everything. I understand that.
But you gotta respect our other patrons. You cannot be disrespectful to them. You cannot be disrespectful to employees. I mean, look at this. Pause it right here. Pause it when they throw in the. Look at this. They brought a live chicken. They're throwing popcorn. They're throwing. I'm hoping to God no one's throwing a soda around because think about the mess that is. But look at that big crowd. I get it. But it's a meme and everything. There's another angle where you see other people's reaction where they go like, and the lights come on. You're being loud. You're being obnoxious. If I'm going to see a movie, I expect to see a movie in a quiet theater at least. Yes, you can have a good laugh here and there. You
I mean,
might have talked to
compare this
somebody
to
to be like, okay, this is what you miss when they get back.
compare this to
But
Sonic
wow,
3. Compare this to Sonic 3 and the Super Mario Bros. We had class. We had etiquette. We were respectful. Yeah, we loved it. We were very excited, but we didn't go and trash the theaters. We didn't go and trash them. Granted, we did cry during the Maria scene in Sonic 3. Granted, at least it was crying then.
I didn't cry. I knew it was coming.
Other than the hooping and hollering that we've been hearing rumors about, thank God that did not happen when I went to go see it. So I'm happy about that. Um, in the Super Mario movie, everybody was so respectful during that screening. Have we really lost our etiquette as fans? Because I understand we're going, we're having a good time and everything. I can understand
Here's the thing:
that.
these aren't fans. These are people wanting TikTok, Instagram views to get on the news. We get it. It's the Minecraft movie, but now we're at the point that now you're just annoying. This isn't funny. This is frustrating. Think about all the people that are had to clean up this work because of you. Think
Actually,
about,
one of my coworkers quit today because of that.
oh my god, oh my god, I feel sad for them.
Over the weekend, actually, because of how bad it was on opening weekend, it was way worse. And she just stormed out and everything in between. But that's all I'm gonna legally say here. That's all I'm gonna legally say. But this, ladies and gentlemen, this is not how you do. This is not how you go to a theater. I understand it's Minecraft. It's a fun movie, but this doesn't justify it. And everybody took the director's words to heart and subtly encouraged it because the director Jared has shown appreciation for the chicken jockey meme, which has been interpreted by some as encouraging such antics. And it's like, uh,
Getting the wrong idea. Maybe he's just saying that, okay, it's kind of cool like became a meme, so you get more people in the theater, but this is not how we do it. Now, I remember back in the day when Avengers Endgame came out. Oh my god, how was that for that? Do a comparison. How was Avengers Endgame? How loud were they?
Oh, it was very loud, but it was real. It was like more of a respectable uh standing ovation.
I would like to say this that I saw a video that was posted to Twitter around that time period and everything for Endgame. And one guy is just recording these people going loud and very, very much loud and cheering during the whole Avengers Assemble sequence. And people got into this huge debate and everything. And I think I'm the one who came out on top. I'm like, you're allowed to cheer, you're allowed to have fun, but holy crap, I see people standing up and everything blocking the view for other people to see, even if they are cheering as well. But it's like, calm down. I'm surprised the lights didn't come on because I guess some of those employees have more restraint than others. But when you are that loud in the theater, overpowering the sound system, blocking views and everything, I'm sorry, you need to calm down.
Let's see.
That's the point where I say, now you're crossing the line because I can't see. Yes, I would cheer too, but I went on open night in my hometown theater. A lot of people. We packed the theater and everything. But when we got to that sequence, we were like, whoo! Ours was quick, done, over with. Versus the clip that I saw that I'm like, these have got to be
So about
people
10,
that were very obnoxious.
I counted 10 seconds before they turned the light on and everything. I counted
Yeah, they
ten
took the lines
seconds.
and everything just to stop and everything. Now, I
But
want to say
I
the only time I was really loud at something was I saw the film Poor Things. Hold on, Kermit is absolutely right. In Endgame, everyone cheered and cried or whatever, but they didn't respect for the most part. Compared to what he said earlier, he's right. No part of a movie should you trash a theater. They should make them clean up and then throw them out. And apparently, no one under 18 can see the movie without a parent. Yeah. You know, there's that too as well. But this PG-13, so or PG, so no. And that's the thing. This movie is PG. You're going to have a lot of families here as well. And when they see teens to adults doing this, holy crap, that just ruined their nights right then and there for these families. Heck, I even seen teenagers get kicked out even before the whole popcorn throwing because the jockey meme was going viral on TikTok just a few days ago. And I see this clip of people going like, why am I getting kicked out? I didn't do anything. Why am I getting kicked out? I'm like, getting kicked out for a good reason. Even if it didn't cause it, I'm going to say sorry. You got to respect the rules. If they got to make an example out of people, they're going to do it. The only time that I say that I got really loud in the theater was I saw the film Poor Things. I took one of my friends to that movie. And I remember buying the tickets and everything. And then the theater guy said, all right, Poor Things. He's like, all right, this is the last showing. I'm like, ooh, we got in the last showing. And this is after the Golden Globes winners won. And I see a lot of people in here. I'm like, ooh, a lot of people for last night showing for these Oscar movies. So we sit down and everything, and it's a really good movie. Good movie. That is until if you know the movie I'm talking about called Poor Things. Got a very weird movie. A little sexual. And by sexual, I mean it got very dark comedy, adult humor with the jokes. I am talking about stuff that made the people in front of me and back of me laugh very loud and hard. We couldn't believe what we were seeing was filmed. It's some good humor right there and there. If you like Tosh Point oh, Jackass, all that stuff, you'll like some of the comedy humor in here. But wow, it was very, very, very much adult humor oriented, and I couldn't stop laughing at some of the stuff. Some stuff that I'm like, I'm about to get kicked. I'm thinking I'm going to get kicked out or something because I'm laughing too loud. But But at one point in the theater with where I thought a joke was about to happen, be made, I accidentally went like, but my gasp and volume was so loud. I'm like, I'm just gonna lean down a bit. Hopefully, I don't get kicked out. I couldn't stop laughing at what just happened. But no, the film does the 180 twist on me. It's like, no, it wasn't what you were thinking. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. But I still have to say that's the best movie experience I've experienced, but also the best audience experience out there because you had like everybody was laughing in this R-rated movie, and I couldn't be more happy to see it just to share the experience with people who do like films like this, but also we gave the theater a chance of like you should get more of these films in here instead of the more mainstream stuff. So that was very much wonderful. And I remember at the end of the movie when the final joke happened, I'm like, oh my god, this is brilliant. It was building up for this moment. And then as the credits were rolling, we were like, well, let's just started clapping because this was probably the best experience of that night. So a couple times I tell a very kind friend of mine who does fully understand things just keep it down. We got a lot of people here. Just gotta stay quiet.
I feel and I feel bad for the actual people who are going to see this movie for the first time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they ruin that experience as well. Oh, hey Timmy, how was your movie? They fucking shut it down because some idiots were acting the fool. Wow. So Joker,
Mm-hmm.
apparently we have some news. We have an article regarding Power Rangers.
Oh boy, is this about the Super Sentai footage that they were showing?
No,
Oh,
apparently
this one.
I would love to hear your thoughts about this.
Okay, I
Actually,
think Tony Oliver also came out about this too as well. So I think he was the one that's being interviewed and whatnot. So if you want to actually scroll down and kind of read it a little bit, so
so Power Rangers writer says it was a mistake to cast Black and Asian actors as Black Ranger and Yellow Ranger. None of us were thinking stereotypes. Keyword thinking stereotypes.
but the key word at the time,
Yep.
or
Uh,
they think it was a mistake. Instead of thinking, they think this.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers head writer Tony Oliver admits in a new
He's also a voice
investigation
actor.
in the new investigation discovery series Hollywood Demons that it was a mistake to cast a black actor to play the Black Ranger and an Asian actor to play the Yellow Ranger. The series kicked off in August 1993. Jesus Christ, we're almost 30 years into this.
We are
Uh,
30 years into this.
with Walter Emmanuel Jones, one of the coolest actors out there, as
And the
Zach
late,
Taylor. And then, of course, the beloved, the legendary, God rest her soul, Thuyu Trang as Trini Kawan, the first Yellow Ranger. Oliver says in the documentary that none of us were thinking stereotypes when these casting decisions were originally made, which is why the show ran for 2 seasons with the black character, the Black Ranger, and the Asian character, the Yellow Ranger. It wasn't until my assistant pointed it out in a meeting one day that Oliver realized these castings were upholding stereotypes. Oliver added, "It was such a mistake."
but
During
let's
oh, go
debunk
ahead.
this. Let's debunk this. We don't need to read the rest of the article. Let's debunk this. Who knew at the time this would be such a popular show? Who knew at the time that you would see like a Latino man be the Red Ranger, be a leader, see an Asian woman kick some butt in children's show, especially here in America, or a black guy could be a hero that was very cool, very hip, and was very much charismatic, very charming. Who would have thought you would see all these characters on the screen if it wasn't like, say, Star Trek and a few other shows at the time that are sharing a screen at the time? By the time it being the 90s, it's like, Okay, but they're cool characters. Kids are seeing role models we can all look up to and be like, I want to be like Walter Jones. I want to be like Dewey Train or, Jason or Tommy. Oh, don't forget Tommy, the Native American, played a Green Ranger, a White Ranger, two Red Rangers, and a Black Ranger. Whoops.
Oh no. Oh no. He said the word, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoops. My screen's components.
Oh, I'll fix that later. It's just a chat bot going a bit haywire. I've yet to fix that. Um, so
But
apparently,
Jason David Frank. He
yep,
was our first Native American. And
and
first Native
also
American Power Ranger.
and also the Red Ranger in SPD in Power Rangers SPD,
Was black.
which was really cool because he was actually
Oh,
likable. He was likable, and
heck,
I
it wasn't
liked
even
him.
that, Uh, our Sylvan Warren. How you say his name again? Sylvan Warren. I can't pronounce his name, but the guy who replaced Jason David Frank during the midway point of Turbo, was our first black red ranger, our first true black red ranger at that time period. And it was like a big commitment to replace Tommy because of course Jason and Catherine Sutherland, and then who else was it? Aisha. They all wanted to get out the contracts, and they were able to get out their contracts. So that's why all like they left along with Johnny on Bosch. Again, Johnny
Asian.
he's like half Asian, half Asian. We have a half Asian playing a Black Ranger, half Asian playing Green Ranger. Whoops, or not whoops. But
Oopsie.
the thing is, the point of the takeaway is all these characters you see on screen, they were likable, they were lovable. People grew up with them. I grew up with the original cast, and they were awesome. Were they stereotypes? The only one you could say is Walter Jones playing, a black hip hop dancer being a ranger. But here's the thing that separates the OG crew from so many others. When they were starting out in the Unmore fights, you literally saw them do their moves to fight the putties. You remember that first episode
Oh
where
yeah.
it's their first task, and what is Walter doing?
He's
Gonna
kicking
turn the
ass. He's being
well, not
believable.
really kicking ass. He got his ass beat. But he was dancing. He was moving around there, and the players are like, but he was hip hop dancing, and he combined that style into his fight choreograph. It's like, hey, this is kind of cool.
Kind of like what Mugen did in Samurai Champloo. So
Yep,
there, you could say there was inspiration from that. There,
inspiration from that.
it's there. You can actually make that a valid case. You can make that a
It's
valid
there,
case right there.
Obviously, Trini was more. She had the crane style. She was doing her own thing, so that was cool. Kimberly was gymnastics, so you got to see some gymnastic moves. And the
But that's
only
what we love.
fighter was Jason, so he's the only one that could take down a few of them. And look at Billy. You remember Billy being the coward, running away, and everything. And it's only when all five of them all four of them got their butts beat. It's like with five of them, they're like, okay, we got to morph. We have to become the Power Rangers, and then they were able to kick their butts. So I'm like, okay. But as the show progressed, you saw them slowly evolve into better fighters, and it really was when Tommy came around during like the first several episodes. He was the very the first one out of any Ranger in an unmorphed fight to beat multiple putties in one go. Impressive at the time. Impressive.
Hey, Freedom Fighter, what's up?
And as
It
Mighty
is
Morphin
because
got better, we saw all of them evolve to
yeah,
either some of them beat a entire putty patrol, whether it be from Rita or Zed, all by themselves on Morph or with the duo. That's amazing. That was wonderful.
and it's
But are they
storytelling.
stereotypes? No. They were the fun people. We didn't care about stereotypes. Sure, someone has, well, there was a problem, but you talk to Walter Jones, they'll just be honest and say it was a positive experience, not a negative. It was a positive experience, and I
because
wish and I wish the retrain was still around because I would love to hear her opinion as well. But she sadly's no
so
longer.
it's still so painful to this day. It's still so painful. It
Too
hasn't
young.
really. uh, Oh, Levester was streaming. I'll have to give him a shout out soon. I'll have to pop by one of his channels one of these days. Um, but you are correct though, and it's storytelling in its finest because they started out inexperienced, and uh, and then as the series went on, they got better and better and better and better and better. All of them individually got better. You take care, Freedom Fighter. Thank you for popping by my dear
Even in
Frank.
Once and Always Run, robotic Rita reappears fighting. I'm so glad they gave Trini a daughter in for the anniversary because I think that was very nice.
Oh yeah,
That was very nice.
I feel like that was the end of her. I'm glad her character got a proper ending, even because the character is officially retired, and the Yellow Ranger lives through her daughter, and I'm happy
Even
with it.
Rita says that crane style, just like your mother. I'm like, mm-hmm, like mother, like daughter. Mm-hmm.
But when I heard that, I almost broke into man tears. Like I nearly broke into man tears. I'm like, this is how it should be. This is how it should be. Damn it.
I cried at the end because it was not only were they talking about the mom, Trini, finally, after all these years, and you're in the proper Ernie juice bar, finally,
Yes.
after decades. I will never forgive. I still haven't forgiven in space of going to the tiki bar. God, no, no, no. It's Ernie's juice bar. Thank you, finally. And it's the episode where Tommy. They show the clip of when Tommy does lose the Green Ranger powers, and it's Zach and Kimberly singing the song, and they do the pans and everything, and you see Tommy. There's the cut to Tommy, and there's the cut to Trini, and then they just end on Trini as they slowly fade out. That's when I cried right then and there. I'm like, in memory of Trini and in memory of Theory Train and Jason David Frank. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger. Oh my God, right in the heart. That was the end. That was right in the heart. But to me,
I
Power Rangers really, it just showed you that didn't matter what race you came from, didn't matter what your background was, anybody could be a Ranger. And that was the positive thing we saw. People grew up with these characters. I don't care about that guy going on Twitter all the time that, oh, he works in Hollywood and everything. That no, you can't have these characters about Marvel or DC. That it's so nice to have Black Panther. Black Panther's been popular. He only got
thank
more
you, Freedom
popular
Fighter.
thanks to the MCU. And if people want to dress up as Black Panther, go for it. Who says that it has to be a black guy dressing up as Black Panther for Halloween? I've
Exactly.
seen I've seen different races dress up as Black Panther, and I'm like, this is how it should be. It's people should like if you like a character, dress up as them. Go for it. Go for it.
Exactly. I mean, you and I cosplay, and we didn't give a shit. We love the cosplay. Don't care what race you are. We love it. You look amazing in it, and that's all we care about.
I still remember seeing my first Pokemon Legendary. It was from Sword and Shield back in DaishoCon 2019. I believe, it was day two, and as me and my friend were walking around the main convention center, all of a sudden, as we keep going forward, kind of like near the statue, the restroom, I'm like, dude, look at that! Isn't that the new legendary for Sword and Shield? And we just walk up to this beautiful black lady again, and we just said that like, hey, isn't that? I'm like, isn't that like the new legendary Pokemon from Gen 8? She's like, yes, yes, it is. And I'm like, and we get probably like a good few minute conversation with her, just complimenting the look. I'm like, this has got to be heavy to wear and everything. And she said, yes, it's wonderful. I'm like, this is great. Like, and she was wonderful to talk to. And it's great. So, I mean, that's how it's done, people. That's how it's done. And Power Rangers, to be fair, has always been diverse since the first season. Like we had our like again, like we said, we had uh again an SPD Ranger who was red, who was our black and our probably like our second Black Ranger that we have ever gotten. We got people from New Zealand playing all these different characters again. Even union contracts and everything. Again, some of the females who were originally male and the Sentai, they got female Rangers playing these counterparts now. That was cool. It's still always awesome. It has always been diverse, and it's been something that's been very much accepted in pop culture for 30 long years until Hasbro and Saban and sold off the stuff. Yeah, we're not going to let that go away too far right now. And if you see the new Sentai stuff that came out of one of the villains shooting the Mighty Morphin Red Ranger, it is a call out to them for kind of killing the franchise. But apparently it's coming back with Disney Plus, Hulu. Also coming to Hulu. I just hope to God the reboot isn't going backwards to be like, let's just reboot the old shows. I would love to see different adaptations come forth. I would like to go back to some of the previous adaptations they did skip over, like an actual proper adaptation of the Sentai that was used for Super Mega Force. I would love to see a proper adaptation of that Sentai because that show deserves better than just being stuck to Mega Force. Ugh, Mega
Yeah,
Force.
that was disgusting. I'm like, why? I
25
feel
years
like
of Power Rangers and that's what we get?
what's
I
up?
barely made it through Samurai.
Really?
I just couldn't with Samurai. Well, one, I didn't know Power Rangers came back because I thought it was gone for good, and I'm like, because I dropped it with Mystic Force. After Mystic Force, or not even after Mystic Force, like during Mystic Force, I stopped watching, maybe midway through. So I didn't even know it was back until I got to Jungle Fury that was on Nicktoons before Nicktoons went away, or until we stopped getting that channel. And then it was like, oh, I guess Power Rangers is over again. I could still watch on the CW Kids, so like that was fine for a bit. But then Nickelodeon brought it back, and I'm like, what's this show? Like, who are they talking to? And then they said like, what was it, Go Go Samurai? And then it's like, wait, Go Go Samurai? What the hell are they? And it was Power Rangers. They were playing the theme. I was like, oh my god, it's Power Rangers back. But then I kept watching over and over again. I'm catching up with people, and I'm like, it's kind of not for me. And I barely got through in Samurai. I was able to catch Super Samurai for the most part. Saw the finale. I'm like, it was okay-ish, but kind of bad at the same time. And then I watched all of Megaforce. I literally watched all of Megaforce, and I regret watching Megaforce. The acting was stale. The characters bland, very bland. The villains, I just could not care about the villains. I just don't know what it was with them. I hated the last villains we got because they barely did anything. And I thought Decker was the better villain, ironically nowadays. And I'm like, no. I'm like, all right, it's 25 years of Power Rangers. They're doing all the cameos from the Disney era and the Neo Saban era. We come on, you guys can do it. Just and then the finale happened. And where are all my old Rangers? The behind the scenes of Megaforce is one thing that kind of shocked me because in interviews, I guess the cast did want the screenplays to be better. The Red Ranger did came out saying I'm more of a model than an actor. It did show a whole lot, The whole getting as much Rangers back as possible together was just very sad because I wanted to see Lightspeed Rescue. When they were in their cameo, I'm like, okay, cool, but couldn't you guys appear a bit sooner? It was sad to see a lot of my favorites just go away, really. I'm like, there's no way. This is not the 25th anniversary. And then you see all the Rangers from the past seasons. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. Until you remember, oh yeah, we didn't do the actual Sentai with the White Ranger, the White Liger Ranger. We didn't do the adaptations of so many Sentais that came before that we've only done the more recent stuff. And then it's like it was cool to see Jason David Frank probably for his second to last time in the suit, in the Green Ranger suit. I just did not like that finale. But if there's one thing they learned from the mistakes from Megaforce with the older seasons, with Dino Charge, Ninja Steel, Beast Morpher, and then was it Dino Fury? Was it Dino Fury, Dino Charge?
Dino Thunder?
No, not
Dino
Dino
Thunder?
Thunder. Not Dino Thunder. Dino Fury, Dino Charge. I'm trying to remember which came first. Dino Fury or Dino Charge? I think it was Fury. They actually gave them proper cameos and reunions with the older cast. So it was done better. They learned from the mistake. They made sure to have the old cast get some time to shine. And that's why we got to Beast Morphers. When we got to see the OG himself, Jason, back after so many years. That was cool. Just him calling out Goldar Maximus like, so you're Goldar Maximus. I hope you're tougher than the last guy. Army? That's not an army. This is an army. What's that? A power coin. That was sick. That was awesome. But I hope for the best of Power Rangers in the future. And no, these weren't stereotypes. They're getting it all wrong. Nobody of us in the 90s, especially 90s kids, we had a problem with these Rangers. They were awesome. They were cool. Anybody who says otherwise, I wouldn't listen to them.
You know who we didn't see in there? SPD. We didn't see anybody from SPD in that episode.
I don't. Yeah, I think SPD was a little bit more harder because I think.
Because I loved Power Rangers SPD. It was one of my favorites. Because I watched Dino Thunder and then Mystic Force and then SPD. I feel like SPD did it right because, and it also did something very bold. They talk about an actual power, and this is unheard of at the time, ladies and gentlemen. At the time, it was unheard of. Like the further we got into the series, the more we learned that Sky's dad was killed by one of the major bad guys. We never heard of that. We never, in the history of Power Rangers, we never heard a Ranger legitimately dying. And
You almost got it with Lost Galaxy, but that's because at the time the original Pink Ranger for Lost Galaxy, didn't she have leukemia at the time? So that's why she had to leave. Thankfully, she's leukemia free, and that's why they got oh my God, Krona's character. What was her name again? It was the sister to like in space Red. Yeah, yeah. What was it? Was it Krona? Yeah, yeah. That was her name, right?
Hang on, let me. Karone,
Krone. Yeah,
Karone.
Krone.
Yep.
Yep, Krone. That's why she got to replace the Galaxy Rangers to show she could
And
be the
she was the long lost sister of Andros.
Andrews. There we go. But there was also reports from back in the day that it was supposed to be the in space Pink Ranger taking over the duties, but long story short, there was payment issues and everything, so she decided not to do it. But on the bright side, she is a firefighter, so it's a firefighter or medic. One of the two. So she still has a year.
But in SPD though, they legitimately pulled the trigger on that one, and that was a shocker right there. I remember being so shocked
Even I was
about
shocked
that.
as a kid. I'm like, they killed off a Red Ranger?
Yeah, they like because Cat's like he was I forget the villain's name because Cat was talking to Kruger and she's like, and he was the first to, and Kruger goes, I know. And that sparks a debate of where to tell him the truth or to tell Sky the truth or not. It was a very powerful episode, really, really well done, and that was his goal to that was Sky's goal to be a Red Ranger because his dad was a Red Ranger too, and that was his driving factor, and it came full circle at the end, at the final episode when we see Sky as the Red Ranger. It is full circle, beautifully written, and that's why I praise SPD for actually going out there and doing um, moral storylines like that.
I think it's really you got to see more moral stories with RPM. That was definitely one they were really trying to save the franchise, and a lot of the footage was more American footage. But this is also that was the more big one where there were actually several deaths in the series that, while excluding the Rangers, they killed off actual side characters. So I'm like, oh, that helped motivate some of the characters. Like Red's brother was killed off in a fighter jet trying to protect the planet. People. The butler for Yellow, I actually kind of like his death, just because it's him saying that despite her being the bratty princess back in the day, she kind of grew to mellow out of that and be like, I'll make sure things are clean for you when you get back up. I'm like, oh man. And there were some like more dilemmas with their mentor who was always locked up in prison due to her, her funny, but yeah, Power Rangers has did tackle stuff here and there, so it's pretty nice to see this stuff. So, but anyway, let's move on. Hopefully, again, there were no stereotypes; they were just fun characters.
Exactly. So, also, yes, happy early National Anime Day to you, Say It Out Loud, George. Speaking of anime, I do have an anime one here. I don't know if you heard about this or not, but Cowboy Bebop creator says his new anime Lazarus originally pitched as being similar to Space Dandy, but Adult Swim wanted something more serious. And this is from the creator himself. According to the Cowboy Bebop creator, Shinichiro Watanabe, when he was first approached by Cartoon
Shinichiro
Network,
Watanabe.
thank you. When he was first approached by Cartoon Network to produce a new project on their dime, he originally pitched the idea of creating something akin to his comedy sci-fi series Space Dandy, but pivoted to developing his newly launched Lazarus after being told by Warner Brothers subsidiary to make something more serious. Of course, Warner Brothers, yet again, why they are bitch cakes. Jointly animated by the God of High School Team MAPPA and Sola Entertainment for the Adult Swim imprints, Toonami programming blog Lazarus introduces audience to the not too far flung future of 2052, dropping them onto an idealistic version of the future Earth whose most notable discovery is the drug Hapana, a miracle painkiller capable of numbing any and all pain in a human's body when taken. However, 3 years after
But
Hapna's
twist,
introduction
this is the best twist of all. It
to the world
was
at
fake, and it's
to
more
the
meant to kill people.
yep, its
And
inventor
that's
Dave.
how you set the tone right away. I'm like, oh shit. It reminds me of Limitless back in the day. I'm like, oh shit.
Eventually gives way to immediate death, and time will soon be up for anyone who took it. Now this is very interesting. Joker, why don't you go ahead and take the reins on this one?
So I do find this to be interesting because Space Dandy was already successful enough on Toonami, and so when you kind of think about like, oh, so you want to do something a little bit more similar to Space Dandy, but we want something serious. We want something serious for the show instead. It's not that too hard to see it because it's going to be Space Dandy. Would it be just as successful as Space Dandy, or would it be more inferior? I'm not going to blame some of the producers or executives at Cartoon Network or Adult Swim to be like, we want something serious instead. Because when you do look at the Toonami block, there's not a whole lot that makes me want to say I want to watch Toonami right now. It's just the same shows again. Some stuff is finally off the block again. They've been trying to experiment again a little bit now and then again with some of the stuff. Uzumaki was very heartbreaking to watch because there was a lot of potential within that first episode, and it was really good, done very well, matched the manga. But then episode 2, 3, and 4 were just very much heartbreaking to see the quality and consistency of the animation just drop. And that's on Warner Brothers Japan's meddling over there. So that was very heartbreaking. But I think this is kind of interesting to see that we almost didn't get the show that we saw promoted heavily. I just remember seeing all this cool stuff being like, from the creator Shinichiro Watanabe and stunt coordinator Chad Stahelski of John Wick fame. I'm like, teaming up. I'm like, really? They're teaming up? This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be awesome. It looked like the high stuff, and now we get this race against the clock. Find the guy to stop the key. Find the cure. I think this was the right call actually, because if I got a spiritual success to Space Dandy, spiritual success to Space Dandy, I don't know if I would be too happy. But if they wanted something serious, like you can still have the fun comedy stuff in there, go for it. And like I said, when you get two legendary people, Chad Chad Tinsey and Shinichiro Watanabe working together, you get cool shit like this. Like the action is crisp, clean, smooth. I just say, how did they animate this? It's got to be rotoscope because it's Chad's the stunt coordinator. So of course they're gonna have people like do the stuff for all the reference for the animators, and it's amazing. I just hope because it's Mappa, they got paid correctly because we know Mappa tends to hold paychecks or have their animated works long, long hours.
Oh, absolutely.
So I gotta say this was the right call actually. But did you also know, according to him, Mr. Watanabe Sensei, that he believes all of his shows take place within the same universe? Yep, Afro Sam, no, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, Lazarus, Space Dandy, Carol and Tuesday, they all take place within the same universe. And he says, I thought they all do take place in the same universe. So I
Interesting.
wouldn't be surprised if I see a Carol and Tuesday reference in Lazarus. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'm probably gonna give this show a viewing because
It's so good, but you gotta wait every Saturday though.
God bless
And it comes
America.
up Saturday at midnight, so that literally means Sunday morning. So you better stay up. Or you can watch it on HBO Max. So if you do have your Max account, people, you're lucky.
um, your final thoughts on this Joker?
I think this is the right call for whatever that fridge pitch could have been. It could have been interesting, or it could have been like, well, it's just Space Dandy again. But Lazarus, oh my God, you guys have no idea what you're in for. The trailer was one thing. Seeing all this stuff in beautiful motion, it's just me going like this nonstop. Going like, finally, there's something to watch. And it's just badass, really. It's a badass show.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I really hope that this anime does good. I hope this anime does good. What's up, Yeet? I really because it's from the Cowboy Bebop creator himself, so it's bound to be good. I mean, heck, I enjoyed Space Dandy. I actually enjoyed it. Speaking of which, Joker, you won't believe this, but this comes at no surprise. Magic the Gathering movie will be directed by Blackberry director Matt Johnson. So it's going to be a live action Magic the Gathering movie. Uh,
Despite the fact we still don't have Netflix's animation show yet.
so we're just going to jump over that. We're going to jump over that and go directly to live action. Where? There's a certain rhythm to these things, Joker. Franchise comes out, there's the TCG, then the anime, then the movies. I
I
feel like we're
think the
going
last
backwards.
update was last year, so and that was at the oh yeah, and that was at the Tudum event. So at least it's still alive.
The film is intended to be the start of a live action cinematic universe.
Stop
What?
it! Stop it!
Oh
Stop it!
no! Oh
Stop it!
no! The words you never want to hear in the same sentence. Is it possible? How is that possible? Can we use those words in the same sentence? Those words. Oh my
Well, it's
god.
just announced, and they're trying to bank on stuff, and they're trying to bank on stuff that Marvel is definitely failing. DC, I'm hoping they get it together soon because they really need that Superman movie to be a banger. They really do. But the fact that they're truly trying to say it's going to be a cinematic universe, no. Why can't we just get nice one and done movies or a good duology, then just move on to different characters? Is it that hard these days? Is it truly that hard to just make stuff standalone? Now, I'm not a Magic the Gathering player. I have no idea what this is about, or what the lore is even about. But I see cool people and cool armor and stuff. I'm like, okay, this could be up my alley. But things aren't just gonna happen magically. Obviously, this is still in pre-development stages, so this will take some time still. So we'll have to wait and see when we get more stuff in the future. Also, for the love of God, I need something for the Netflix animation show. It's been years, and I mean years. The last stuff we even got that it was still alive, it was still being developed. We had some people that were casted. We had some people that were. We got Terry Matalas, Matalas, as the new showrunner. It used to be the Russo brothers, actually, but then they kind of dropped out and then kind of switched gears. So you got to see some of the stuff that was being slightly animated or to some of the backgrounds and stuff, but it's like, okay, things are still coming. Oh, there you go. Okay, hold on. There we go. I gotta show off that a little bit because I have no idea what this is. This
least at least what Dungeons and Dragons did, they did it right with that movie. It was set in a single story. What were you trying to share, buddy?
Okay, let's see here. So there we go. So at least I got some update. At least I got a update for Netflix. So I'm like, ooh. So I'm like, so at least this is like the last thing that we got from them. But I like this image. I'm like, I like this image. I like what I see here.
Oh, that's actually a good image. That's good.
I'm like, this looks good. Like, I don't
You're
know who these
actually
characters
getting it.
are.
They're getting it. You're getting it. They're like, okay, this has my attention. I like
If someone could
this.
tell me who these characters are, let me know. Because I'm like, this looks good. Just an image, but I love the fires, love the reds, the browns. Like, this looks good. Looks good. Because again, the Russos were originally attached to this, but then but for whatever the reason it was, they left and stuff. But for now, that's what we have for at the moment. That's what we have. So I believe somebody was casted as well, but I think that was too long ago. But at least I have something. It's still within the works.
Oh, I agree. And it's really gonna be something. I don't know why they are so hell bent on the cinematic universe.
Because it's where we go back to what I keep saying. Once it trends, it's never going to go away. Because Marvel has this big, gigantic cinematic universe that they keep failing to realize what made it work. And you get a bunch of stuff that people either you're doing adaptation of characters no one cared about. Like, I do not care about Agatha from WandaVision. Didn't care. Show bomb. You've given me She-Hulk finally. But the show is a disaster of a comedy and Law and Order courtroom drama series that no one cares. I like She-Hulk because she wanted to go after the people that not only killed her mom, because her mom was at the right wrong place at the right wrong time. And when she got killed, it made her motivated to be like, I need to take up arms in my own hands, go into the legal system, and put people like them behind bars. That's great character motivation. And what do I get in the show? I get catcalled. Why?
Oh,
Why? And you
oh.
said that to Bruce Banner. You're but we no. I argue with this with people. They said we didn't get the origin story for Hulk. It's called Ang Lee's Hulk. Go watch that. Go watch the Incredible Hulk and listen to Edward Norton and what he said about the Hulk. I put a gun in my mouth and the other guy spit it out. That's powerful writing. That's powerful. And we'll never get that again with the Hulk because they made the Hulk the joke. And they did Professor Hulk. I really don't care about Professor Hulk that often, really. I mean, I like the design in the comics, but I just kind of don't care about Professor Hulk. What else is there? They keep trying to do White Vision. Don't care about White Vision. They didn't get yourself Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier. That could have been a great show, but they kept screwing up with the writing. Also, really, Anthony Mackie, gotta stop calling them terrorists. Did you not know about the? Oh. Anyways, the long and short of it is that people want cinematic universes. They want to keep going back to stuff over and over again. So it's quick, easy money, yet they don't realize just because you have that doesn't necessarily mean you should go back to that. Look at Universal. Look what happened with them relaunching the Dark Universe with The Mummy. It failed miserably. They tried to redeem it with the Invisible Man. That was actually pretty good. That was pretty good, actually. That was really good. And then the Wolfman came out, and I have yet to see the Wolfman, but heard so many mixed receptions about Wolfman. Did you see Wolfman yet? Like the new adaptation?
I heard mixed and positive, but I'm debating if I want to jump the gun on that movie. I would like to see it at some point though.
Like, same
Um,
here. I want to see it too, but I'm like,
but after the
hmm.
last Wolfman and everything, I'm like, I really want to put myself through that again. What can you do, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, speaking of which, Joker,
Ooh. I'm so jealous. I am,
I got these from Dev. He actually signed these, and I had that.
I am so jealous. I am so jealous.
Um,
He knows I'm a Sly Cooper fan. I'm so jealous.
I will tell you, Joker, he was marvelous. I hung out with him for 10 minutes.
Who?
For 10 minutes straight, we talked about like our theories on Sly 5 and everything, and also my pitch for Carmelita's story end of how she gets her name added to the Cooper family tree and everything, because I feel like that would be the perfect cap off of that. And he actually liked my idea. He actually liked it.
Really?
Yeah, he liked my pitch of how to tie the knot with Sly and Carmelita, because it's so obvious. He also showed early concept art
I know
of
Sly looked really weird back in the day. Like he's a little more scrawny looking. He's got a different hat. The cane was still there, but like again, you just got to start somewhere, and then eventually things get they get better shaped out. Things improve. I mean, look how Crash used to look
oh
back in the
oh
day. That
yeah.
was.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't get that. I am
I
happy.
mean, it was interesting what Butch Hartman came up with. Actually, I'm like, that would have been a different tale of what he could have done with Crash. Even Spyro was a little bit more different too, so that was kind of cool as well. So I'm like, wow, that's interesting to see how everything started off with.
Yeah, he showed like different concept art for Mugshot, uh everybody. Even early concept art of Carmelita. That was really cool. And, and you see the glow up and everything. And he was really fun to talk to. I did ask him your question. Would you be involved if Sly Cooper 5 were to happen? Would you be involved? And he's like, as bad as I would love to be involved in that game because I love it to pieces, I would have to dedicate 2 to 7 hours of everything, and my age is catching up to me. He subtly let it slip about age, and it broke my heart a
Well,
little
I
bit.
didn't quite necessarily ask about like if he would work on Sly Five. I said, would he like Sly Five to come back, like for a proper Sly Five? But that is
Oh,
interesting to know that like you did ask that extended question of like, would he like to work on Sly Five? I'm like, And for some of them, some people like to work a lot. Look at Miyazaki. That man is old. He should be retired, but he still likes to work. And in an interview he did when working on Boy and the Heroine, it was like, in my youth, I can do you 10 minutes of animation. Oh, like how many frames he said? Like 10 frames or something. Like that's how fast the speed was. Now it's down
He,
to 1 frame. It's like, yikes.
yeesh. But he did. Dev did say his favorite one was Sly. That was his favorite. Um, like his favorite art to do and everything. He told me he did say Sly was his favorite one. Out
Hmm.
of he did have. I wish I had a bit more money because I was this close to buying it. He has this it's the Sly Cooper anniversary poster. And it's like it has like the shot of like the building and everything, and all the characters going wild, including Carmelita's office and everything. And it had a golden Sly Cooper logo, a golden one, and
Oh, I love it.
it reflects too. I almost got it. I almost bought it, but I'm like, I'll stick with the postcards. And Dev was so sweet. He's like, you know what? How about I sign those for you? Make them more special. I'm like, yes, please, please.
So, Dev, thank you for answering my question along with Anime Night. I would love to meet you one day. Hopefully, you'll come to a convention near me
You would
soon.
love him.
I am a mega
You,
fan of Sly Cooper. I told people my live streams, you need to buy these games now. They're at a cheap
I
price.
did get. I'm like, I told him, there's a good buddy of mine by the name of Silent Joker. He couldn't make it here to the con, but he gives his regards and everything. I spoke very highly of you in front of him, so I gave you the mad props. I gave you the mad props in your place. But he's like, well, tell your friend Joker that I said hello, and I hope to meet him also one day too.
So
I got your back, Joker. I got your back on that
so
one.
Dev, if you are watching, like you said you would, if not, thank you so much. I hope I get to meet you one day because I would love to meet one of the members who made my childhood game. That is the game I constantly went back to. I knew all the levels, knew all the bottles were, beat all the bosses multiple different times. I knew all the dialogue. I'd love to meet you, good sir. Just to shake your hand and say thank you for making the game. And hell,
His,
if they still do Sly 5, they should get you in a cameo. They should get all the staff as a cameo if they can.
but it was so much fun. And his assistant though, sweet as a cucumber. She was so sweet and everything. And she actually took the photo. She actually took the photo of me and Dev together and everything. She was behind that. She was the one who took the photo. And I'm just like I'm like beaming with energy. I'm just like fanboying so hard inside. And luckily I kept my composure and everything. Um, and I got to meet the legend himself, James Rolfe. Finally got to meet him. It was short, but I got a photo with him. Everything. My bucket list is almost done. Speaking of which, Joker, well, why don't we make this our final news?
All
So
right.
apparently, ladies and gentlemen, this might fall into rumor mill or some shit like that. New Titanfall 3 leak claims it's almost complete with campaign, battle pass, and
Ugh.
lore. Two leakers in the Apex Legends community have sparked excitement and skepticism in equal measure as they claim a reliable source has told them Titanfall 3 is coming. Apex Legends leaker known as Al Salvador and I can't say it. Reignited discussions about Respawn developing Titanfall 3, claiming it will be released in 2026. According to the leakers, who do have a reasonable track record of accurate information about Apex, Titanfall 3 will be revealed at the 2025 Game Awards at the earliest. On April 9th, El Salvador published some actual information about the supposed game, claiming it will be a live service title with a campaign
No,
and
no.
all the modes you expect, even some Apex characters. He said it's almost complete and it's being developed with Unreal Engine 5.
What happened to the Source engine?
So apparently it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. Oh, crap.
Boo. What happened to the
Almost,
Source engine?
yep. Almost complete single player campaign. Yay. Live service with battle passes. Ugh.
No.
Main
No.
mode extraction, other modes TDM control arenas, all Titanfall 2 classic modes, some returning Apex characters, and
Well,
a
technically
weather
speaking, Apex and Titanfall do take place within the same world, so that's fair.
system. Like,
Ooh, maybe that's for the campaign, because Titanfall 2 had that fantastic time manipulation level where you just went back and forth between the two periods of when the station or the area was in pre height of its power, where everything was built and everything. Before you go, that's in the past. When you're in the present, it's like, oh, it's destroyed. So that was actually pretty cool, like the whole time manipulation. So I wonder if they're experimenting with weather. Like this could be a prey situation with the campaign. If they're talking about weather, you know, think about day and night cycle with prey and how some of that stuff affected the actual campaign. So I'm like, what battle royale passes? No, thank you. Again, but the thing that makes me say takes the rumor. We know very much well Apex Legends has been giving them a lot of money over the years, hence why EA didn't really market the game. They were letting it to doom to fail, but it was a very good competitor to uh, uh, for Fortnite and a few others. So it really gave them a lot of money. Hence why you never saw Timefall 3 because Apex Legend was bringing in the bank, bringing in a lot of money. There was a lot of promotions for it, like season passes, battle royales, and yes, this was something that was really fun to have. Competitive League is very competitive over there. That's why we never got TF3, so Timefall 3, so that's why it went away. Then there was the leaks that came out. Was it a year ago, year and a half ago, that Respawn was originally working on Titanfall 3 for a while until EA kind of pulled the plug on it. And then it's like, no. So this thing was being made? Damn it, EA. And the only reason why we not got Titanfall 3 is because Titanfall 2 was sandwiched in between the latest Call of Duty game at the time and Battlefield 1, which led to poor sales of the second game and why we never got Titanfall 3. So I'm taking this the big, huge doubt with the grain of salt, like extra salt. That's how I'm being cautious. I would love to see Titanfall 3. It's what I've been asking for years. Why don't we go back to this universe? Apex is one thing. Give me Titanfall 3. We deserve to have Titanfall 3. And especially with how Battlefield's been doing these days. So, yes. Also, Unreal Engine 5 makes it very interesting for me in that case because, well, to be fair, the Jedi games by Respawn are built in Unreal Engine 4. So that does make a lot of sense compared to Battlefield and all their other games being mandated for the Frostbite engine. I mean, why is a sports game using the Frostbite engine that can barely handle football simulation? Like, why? No, seriously, the EA truly has mandated a lot of their games use the Frostbite engine, even if it doesn't work. Like Anthem using Frostbite, even though it was apparently it was a nightmare to work with. The Project Rack Bag was using Frostbite, where even virtual developers said that with the A team working on the Star Wars game, the B team was using that engine still for it was Battlefield Hardline, and they said that they had a lot of problems with the game in development for their Star Wars project. And the list goes on how much this is a nightmare. Even former Bioware devs, the good ones, said for making Dragon Age Inquisition, they were hoping the game would fail at least, or at least not do as well, because development was harsh, very harsh, and that engine was a nightmare to use with. I'm like, oh my god, but like, what is this engine? Not properly optimized? Someone let me know. And then you look at Andromeda and the Veil Guard. Holy crap. So I guess you could say they are slowly loosening their grip on which game engines their companies can use now. Even Mass Effect Legacy HD, they are still using Unreal Engine 3 because they did ask Epic Games they wanted to use the fourth engine, but they said if you use that, you're gonna have to rebuild everything. So it's like, oh, okay, then we'll just keep it to Unreal Engine 3 then. So this wouldn't be surprising if they are doing this for making their developers happy that they're using a game engine that's still optimized without going to use the frustrating Frostbite engine that somehow only DICE knows how to use. But again, it's still very poorly optimized. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.
Exactly. Because Titanfall is actually a fun game,
It's amazing.
but but the live service is what's gonna kill it. If you took out live service and kept everything else, you have a perfect game.
I mean, I miss when games just used to have expansion packs. I like look at the old.
I had no problem with the expansion packs. We had no problem with those. Those were fun as hell because you got everything that you saw, and it was optional. It was optional to get.
You got
Not
more
like
maps.
not like throwing in your face. Like, if you want this weapon, you'll have to get to tier 75 to get it. Like, what the fuck? Or if you want the Gundam styled mecha suit for in Titanfall, you have to get to tier 100. Fuck these
You know
people.
they're gonna do that. They're gonna go to
Oh,
Sunrise, get the promotion. They're gonna do it
no
to bring
doubt in
down
my
pay.
mind. If Call of Duty did that, Call of Duty has already done it, and I nearly came back to Call of Duty because of that. I nearly came back, but I'm like, no, I'm better than this. I wasn't myself. I'm not like my old self who bought all the anime skin packs in Modern Warfare 2019. I kind of went a bit overboard. I'm better than that. I'm in a better mindset and I have better games to play. As cool as as cool as it was to see Gundam and everything, I already have the Gundam game to satisfy that for me. I already have it, and I'm happy. But you're not wrong, Joker. Titanfall could easily go over to Sunrise. Hey, let's do a collaboration. You know, if Mad Matt was here, he would probably tear apart this whole thing. He would probably tear it apart. No, knowing him. So
Yes,
Joker,
Matt would
final
lose.
thoughts on this.
I think my final thoughts. If to be truth be honest, I would love to have Titanfall 3 back. decided that Titanfall fan of me is like, bring it back, bring it back, bringing it back. But my skepticism is coming and being like, but this is still modern EA. This is still Respawn. They could still be making Apex Legends stuff, which they have always been doing. But they know this is what the fans what they want. But will it still hold the same charm, that crisp, smooth, fast-paced gameplay? Will it even live up to these expectations all these years? And it's still EA. They're gonna monetize the hell out of this game. They know the live service gimmick works. No, no. I have to see this game to believe it. And even if it was really good, I am still hesitant to buy it.
I agree. I love Titanfall and everything. I love that world, but it's gonna take a lot just to get either one of us to really play it. Plus, with the latest news with the Switch 2 and everything, who knows how much it's gonna be when you have to factor in all that? Because I don't know how you could justify the price on top of the bout and live service. This is why live service is so bad. Because you and I are what? We're spending, hypothetically, you and I would probably spend probably $50. The base price, $50.
Probably $29.99 for a pass, so yeah, a little over 50 for.
So that would be over $70 in total for that. But given everything that's happening, and they really go off the rocker and be like, oh, we're gonna charge you guys $69.99 or $99.99. It further defeats the purpose of the live service, because not only are you charging an outrageous amount for the definitive edition, the digital deluxe edition, you're also charging $20 for the battle pass. So in essence, you're probably going to be spending ballpark, I would say between $130 to $140. Ballpark, ballpark mathematics, somewhere in there, and that's what worries me. I'm like you, Joker. I want to see Titanfall 3. I would love to see Titanfall 3, but I am so scared of the factors that are coming into play with this. I really hope they are wrong about all this with the live service and everything. I hope it's wrong. That's the one thing I would be fine with being wrong. Because I'm all for single player campaign. I'm all for that any day of the week. Because I like single player campaign. It's a nice break. Like if my friends are asleep and everything, or they can't make it, or like, oh, we're sorry, Adam and I, we can't game tonight. I'll just hop over to campaign and still play. No biggie. At least, and we go back to expansion packs. Black Ops 2 did it way better. They did it way better. Because you got really cool skins. You had a new gun in there, which is the Peacekeeper. You had new maps, a zombie map, and a brand new zombie Origins. Origins, the new map. You could, and they were reasonably priced, and it was affordable. All of that for that one price, I wouldn't complain. I was happy to get that shit, especially the new gun, the Peacekeeper. I remember when I busted that bitch out when I got it the first time. I went to town with that gun, and I had fun. That's the joy in that. We don't have that anymore. It's like, oh, here's a sticker. Here's a sticker, a bunny sticker for your gun, or a
that
carry,
no one's
or
gonna see really.
oh yeah, hey Joker, would you spend $3 for a sticker?
No, it's like with Angry Joe saying that you pay $2 for a blue gun. Oh, I'm bringing back the good old Evolve days. $2 for a painted blue gun. No. Remember, Evolve had over $150 worth of microtransactions. None of that was in the base game. We're going backwards. Oh, you want to lock all the content in Dead or Alive? Which Dead or Alive game was it? Six?
I think it was
I believe it was
6.
six, and it was over $1,000. A
Oh Jesus!
$1,000. Oh, you want to change your hair color? Well, you need to pay us money. It was literally you have to pay them money too if you want to change the hair every single time. It's like what? Remember
Oh
when
my
stuff
God!
used to be that's
I'm
why Dead or Alive went
offended.
away for a while. The sales weren't there, and then it's like you have $1,000 worth of DLC, and hair color was always being charged. No, thank you. And that's
I'm
what happens, folks.
offended.
Like I said, it starts small. Yes, Bethesda did release the stupid horse armor back in the day, but at least it was horse armor. It was small. The paid expansion stuff was a little bit more better, reasonable. Other stuff were reasonable. But when you got to, I think it really was the 8th generation when things started out with these season pass that didn't get you quite everything. When, oh, you want cool stuff? Well, we could put this in the game for you for free, but I like money. We've got to have money. So why don't we charge you? And it's people who continue to practice these terrible models is the reason why we're in this state. I just don't like this stuff. It's it's bad for the industry. It's bad for the hobbies. Again, but it's one thing as adults we know better, but a young kid's not going to know better. When his school friends are bragging, "Oh, I got this because of my brother or my mom and dad gave me it, and I got lucky on the draw." That's what's going to kill it. Again, we people have waking up to loot box crisis. Thank you, but that's one thing. There's no battle royale pass, this or that. It's not going to go away. It's shameful how greedy they become and how people are willing to pay for this stuff. I hate this. I truly do.
I agree because it kills the enjoyment in our gaming. Because I can remember, we both can remember at a time during the PS3 era, we were having fun. We were having fun, and you didn't have you didn't have to pay for service or anything. All you needed was internet, and that was it. Nowadays, we don't have that. We don't have it anymore. It's like, oh, you want to play online on the PlayStation? Oh, you gotta buy our membership. Or with Fortnite, it's like, oh, you want the Galactus skin? Well, you're gonna get that in the Battle Pass. Yeah. And you're right, we're adults here and we recognize the danger in that. But these kids and teens, they don't care. And their and peer pressure is part of that too, because it's like, oh, oh, look at me, Joker. I got I got Gambit. I got the Gambit skin in the Fortnite store. Thanks to my mom who got it for me for who gave me V-Bucks for my birthday. That's gonna make little Timmy very upset and feel very inadequate. And then he's gonna go home, break into his mom's purse, steal the credit card, put the information down, buy the V-Bucks, buy the Pal Pass, and probably for a few extra $100, buy the entire thing. All the tiers, everything, in one day. People, I'm not joking here. There have been stories about this. Mainstream stories. I wish it was a joke, but unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. It's not the case anymore because this is a real thing, and it's still happening. With all these new games that are coming out, it's still happening, which is very tragic and very sad because when Battlefront 2 came out, I was legitimately excited until they did the loot box thing, and I'm like, oh god, they're doing it again. And then that ban in Bolivia or that one country, I knew that was going to be the backlash right there. It was obvious. All in all, ladies and gentlemen, me and Joker, we want Titanfall 3 to happen, but with what's presented, and keep in mind, this is just really grains of salt here. I'm hoping this information is false. I am hoping against hope that it's false. But time will tell, though. We're in April already, and the Game Awards is not till December. So we have a lot of months to go before that happens again. But I digress. Well, guys, this has been a fantastic edition of Knightcast. It's good to be back in the chair and everything, despite how under the weather I am. I'm actually glad my body was able to hold out and everything because I feel like crap right now. I do plan to do a Comic-Con unboxing haul. I'm thinking either tomorrow afternoon or before the watch party or a special edition of Knight's Anime Table. I haven't decided yet, but we'll go from there. Stay tuned for that news. Tomorrow is the episode 7 through 9 of the watch party with Black Cat. Join me, Joker, and Jasmine if she can make it. And we're going to be watching episodes 7 through 9. If you want the watch party link, reach out to me. I will happily provide it for you. And if you want to join in on the discussion panel, you're more than welcome to do so. All we ask is that the only requirement is you have to watch one episode with us to be on the discussion panel. That's roughly it. That's just the one requirement for that. The one requirement. A fair requirement, but that might change. I don't know. Tinkering. But Joker, thank you again for coming on tonight. I love doing Nightcasts with you. It's so much fun. Big thank you to James. Big thank you to Yeet, Samuel, George, Freedom Fighter, Kermit. Good to see you again, buddy. Rex's California Ford. Also Big Angry Phil. Also, thank you to Heavenly Jester for the $10 super chat, and Callie for the $20 super chat. Jesus Christ. Ichigo Senpai, what's up, buddy? Hopefully to catch you all later. Tune in tomorrow at 7:15 for the watch party. I will post the links in the chat. Just click on those and you'll see them. Anyway, guys, I am going to get out of here. Guys.